What's going on, you guys? It is Derek from mancaveretreat.com. If you haven't met me before, well, my name is Derek. I built my own man cave from scratch. It was just the skeletons, the framing in the walls. Built it up to something I'm proud of. And during that time, there are a lot of questions I asked. So my goal with this channel is to give you better answers than I could get. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that's really one of the first questions I asked when I built a man cave, and a popular question that a lot of people are asking when they build man caves, and that is it worth it to get a kegerator? Stick around till the end. The answer might surprise you. And if you haven't yet, like, subscribe. If you have any questions during this video, leave a comment and I hang out in the comments and I'll respond back to you. So, should we buy a kegerator for our man cave? I want to break this down into two different things. First, what goes into it? What are the logistics? How much effort goes into it? And this is going to be a little bit heartbreaking for you. It was for me, but it's not as easy as just getting a keg, putting it in a refrigerator, and always having cold beer. There's a lot to it. So when we get so basically the way a kegerator works is it forces CO2 into the keg, into the headspace of the keg, which then forces the beer out. As you can imagine, that CO2, not as much as air or anything like that, but it will contaminate your beer with bacteria. That's just the way it works. That's normal. Because of that, we need to clean the kegerator pretty often. The maintenance for a kegerator suggests that you clean it once every 2 to 3 weeks. It's a pretty involved process too. You need to put the cleaning solution through all the lines, anything the beer would touch, and then you need to soak the smaller metal parts in the cleaning solution. And when all is said and done, it's going to be about 30 minutes to an hour, almost every other week. So that's a lot. So be ready for that. You're also going to be needing to keep on top of the CO2. The CO2 pressure is something you need to look at because depending on the type of beer, if it's a stout, it's a pale ale, they all have different CO2 levels. So you're going to have to play with that and adjust that for the beer to come out right. So the next thing that you are going to want to keep in mind is, like I said, CO2 is being introduced into the keg. So not only do you have to clean the kegerator and all its lines, every 2 to 3 weeks, but the actual keg that you buy, the beer in it, is only going to last 40 to 45 days. And if you're getting a half keg, a quarter barrel, which is the stereotypical keg, when we think of keg, that's what we think of. It's something crazy, like 7.25 gallons of beer. So you are going to want to make sure that you can go through that in in the month and a half that you're going to be having that keg and the beer's good. Because once it goes bad, the flavor profile is completely changed. And it's pretty hard to drink. So keep that stuff in mind. So there's the maintenance stuff, the different effort things that go into having a kegerator. It can be pretty involved. So that's the not so fun part, but the fun part. So is it worth it financially? The initial cost of a kegerator, the one I suggest, and the cleaning solutions, things like that, is going to be about $550. So it's pretty steep, right? And then, so that's just for not including the beer. And if you go get a keg, you can get a pretty decent keg of beer, depending on your preference, right, and where you get it. But you can expect to pay about $90. So I'd said that keg is a lot of beer. So I wrote down some numbers to make sure I get it right. Uh, but so the keg of beer is going to be about 82 12-ounce beers. So if you're thinking of it like that, then a 12-ounce beer is going at $90 for the keg. That's going to be about $1.10 per 12-ounce can of beer. So I mean, it's not a crazy deal, right? But if you start talking, you're getting more expensive beer by the keg, and you're looking at bar prices, not necessarily supermarket prices. You're saving a lot of money, um, assuming you drink it all, right? Uh, so that's the biggest draw. You can probably expect if you're using a kegerator. You can probably expect that the cost of your beer is going to be about 50%. So the final question, right? Is it worth it? Financially, yes. If you drink enough beer, it is worth it, and you have the friends with you that will come over and help you drink it. It is worth it. And you could make it even more worth it by charging like a per head thing if friends want to come over and drink from drink your draft. Um, I'm sure they would love it because at the end of the day, right, draft beer is better than the alternative. But what about the effort? And that's something that I need you to make the decision for, right? Um, I can't decide that for you. You're the one that's going to have to go and do it. It's not as easy as just a set it and forget it thing, like I may have thought at the very beginning. Are you going to be willing to do the cleaning for the 2 to 3 weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks? At the end of the day, that's up to you. You're the one that's going to need to make that decision. I can't do that for you. Sorry. Um, but I hope at the end of the day, this video helps you make a more informed decision, because the last thing, and I always say this in my posts on mancaveretreat.com and in my videos, the last thing I want for you guys to do is waste money, especially during this time, right? Money is precious. I don't want you to spend money like I may have, right? And realize, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have done that, or that was a waste of money, that was a waste of time. I want you to go in with all the information possible and make a good decision. So again, if you found this helpful, if you have any suggestions, if I forgot something, let me know in the comments. I have been Derek from mancaveretreat.com. Until next time.